Hello and good afternoon from Studio B here in Little Rock. I'm Mitch McCoy. We are in the Arkansas Storm teams closely watching the possibility of strong to severe weather today. A tornado watch has already been issued for parts of southern Arkansas, and that is until 6 p.m. You see it there. And I want to actually bring up a camera from southern Arkansas right now. And Kristen Kennedy, I know these are the pictures that you're also watching. As some of these strong to powerful storms are starting to move in through parts of the area. Kind of give us an overview of what you're monitoring this afternoon as parts of the state is now under that tornado watch.
Yeah, well, it's certainly something we're watching very closely, especially after last night's round of severe storms that came in and produced a lot of damage, mainly just from general thunderstorm wind damage. But we're talking about wind gusts last night, anywhere from 50 to almost 70 miles per hour. And right now, you're taking a look at some RDOT cameras that are down in southern Arkansas, where you can see, yes, the rain is coming down rather hard in some areas. And I do want to show you that tornado watch again. It is listed until 6 o'clock, issued by the Storm Prediction Center, as well as the National Weather Service, working in conjunction there. It is limited to mainly far southern as well as southeastern Arkansas, and we are already seeing storms in that area. In fact, our satellite and radar here showing those severe storms. Right now, they are severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for far south and southeast Arkansas, and they're moving pretty quickly. In fact, I do think this tornado watch will be allowed to expire earlier than the time listed. I don't think that it's going to last until 6 o'clock. I wouldn't be surprised by around 3 o'clock if they do that, drop that watch in our far southern as well as southeastern counties. Now I'm going to zoom in here and kind of click around. So I might want to take these graphics full screen so you can see where exactly those severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect. I do want to point out here the lightning showing up on the map. This is just from 5 minutes of data, and we are seeing a lot of lightning activity. So if you're not under a severe thunderstorm warning in this area, you do want to stay inside, because within just 5 minutes, over 1,000 lightning strikes have been recorded down in far south Arkansas. Now, we do have the warnings, and I'm going to go over them with you. The furthest one towards the east and north is a severe thunderstorm warning that does include Chico County in Arkansas, and that is primarily for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as well as quarter-size hail. That will last until about 1:30. Our next warning does include, let's see, it's a little hard to see these boxes here, but that's a severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Ashley County until 1:15. It's also threatening quarter size hail. However, there is potential we could see a little bit larger hail within this area as well until 1:15, as well as that 60-mile-per-hour wind gust possible. And I believe there's one more warning here. Yes, for Union County. This does include not only that threat again for the 60-mile-per-hour wind gust, quarter-size hail, and it's moving east at around 35 miles per hour. So we're definitely seeing those severe thunderstorms continuing to impact this area. They are moving pretty quickly here. And again, wouldn't be surprised if that tornado watch does come to an end a little bit earlier than forecasted. Right now, it is until 6 o'clock p.m. And we're going to be watching those areas. In fact, parts of southern Calhoun and Bradley counties aren't, and even parts of Union and further off towards the west near El Dorado, those counties looks like they might already be in the clear, as the storms are a little bit further off towards the east. So if you're in this area, just monitor the radar. Of course, have the Arkansas Storm Team app on your mobile devices. Look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook for the remainder of the day today. Shows a few isolated severe storms not completely out of the question. Of course, for southeast Arkansas, that's where we're seeing the most activity right now. We're still going to have a little bit of wraparound moisture from a large area of low pressure that did bring in those storms across the state yesterday, but the severe threat does not seem really too high as we continue throughout the day. So here's a look at our forecast track. As of 12 noon, you can see down south, it really wasn't doing the greatest job bringing in those showers and storms timing wise, but it really does have it out by around 3 to 4 o'clock p.m. And that's what the timeline we're currently anticipating, especially as those storms are moving quicker than expected. Now, it's all kind of due to southerly winds bringing in a lot of moisture, a lot of instability from the Gulf, and tracking it towards the north. We also at the same time have a cold front coming in across the state. And that front was the reason why we had storms last night. It's the reason why we're still seeing some of those storms out there this afternoon, especially in far south as well as southeast Arkansas. So we kind of have a collision between two air masses. That cold air mass, it's going to be colder, not necessarily cold. It's also going to produce some drier air across the region, and the very warm, unstable, and moist air mass that is now sitting in across the southeastern half of the state. So those two air masses come together. Of course, they're going to kind of battle it out, and that's why we do have those showers and storms expected to stick around. All of it completely gone, though, by 7 o'clock at the latest. Again, I do think it's going to be earlier than that, but at the very latest by 7 o'clock, we shouldn't be dealing with any more showers or storms here in Arkansas. Now, it's been a very rainy day. Some parts of the state picking up over 1 inch of rainfall, especially off towards the North Mountain home, picking up quite a bit of rainfall already. And as you can see, there's been some spots here and there that even from last night's storms didn't necessarily get the heaviest amount of rainfall, but the state did wake up to those thunderstorms. You probably heard it. I myself woke up around 2:30 here in Little Rock with those storms rolling in. Some other folks probably were waking up to trees falling. They heard it, or the hail that was reported. And you can see here on the storm reports map that basically the northwestern half of the state, if you draw a line from Jonesboro through Little Rock and Texarkana, anything north and northwest of that is where we did see those storm reports come in, the strongest winds from those showers and storms last night. So if you want to learn more about who saw what last night, we do have more on our website with those storm reports coming in across the state. So again, just to recap for you, there is that tornado watch in effect for far south and southeast Arkansas. We're currently seeing severe storms in that area right now. However, looking at radar, there's nothing to me that screams rotation, no possible tornado in the area just yet, but we are keeping a close eye on it, as it doesn't take much to see just the slightest bit of rotation. You can see those low dark clouds here in southern Arkansas from our RDOT camera down there. And we're continuing to also watch not only the potential for a brief spin up tornado that's still possible in the area. Again, I'm just taking a look at radar and there's nothing that screams rotation to me right now. But there's going to be a threat of strong damaging wind gusts in far south and southeast Arkansas, as well as hail that could also create some damage. And again, if you're living in that area, please stay inside because the amount of lightning with these storms is absolutely incredible. Over 1,000 strikes in just 5 minutes, and that goes way up as you look at the 10, 15, and 30-minute data as well. Mitch?
Kristen, a lot of information there. Let's break this down. So no tornado warnings in effect right now, and you're looking at the radar here. Can you walk us through the velocity mode? Show us what you guys are looking for back in the Weather Center when those conversations happen?
Sure, just give me 1 second to try to pull that up for you.
While you do that, Kristen, I want to bring folks' attention here. This is an RDOT camera. This is near, I believe this is just north of Lake Village, and at times you can see the RDOT camera shaking. It's very, not a lot of movement to it, but at times you see the movement to the camera, you see the raindrops on the camera, and so that is certainly a sign that winds are moving there, and it is raining there just north of Lake Village. Again, no tornado warnings in effect across the state. Of course, this is something that is changing rapidly as storms continue to move in. Meteorologists are watching the radar, but there are several severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, Kristen.
Yeah, so I've gone ahead and I've pulled up our base velocity, which will kind of give us an indication of whether or not there's any rotation taking place in this area. And unfortunately, in far south Arkansas, it is rather far away from the Little Rock database. And it's also a good distance away from not only Jackson, Mississippi's radar site, but also Shreveport. So that area of the state is really in a corner point where we're ending up looking up higher in the atmosphere. So the radar beam travels, and it travels from a relatively low angle for locations closer to the site, but as it gets further away, it goes higher and higher up in the sky. So what we're looking at right now is more so those upper level scans of the atmosphere for if there's any sort of rotation. Velocity is really what meteorologists look at the most, and it gives that real life view of whether or not anything's rotating. And what we're typically looking for when we look at this is whether or not we see any green and red coming together. Usually there's a defined couplet where it becomes an elevated and a very recognizable signature that there could be a tornado trying to form. Typically what's then occurring is you have winds that are going in towards the radar site and going away from, and those two, when they come together, indicate that there is some sort of rotation occurring. And right now, that's definitely nothing that we're seeing on our velocity. Again, keep in mind, this is the higher level, so there might just not be any higher level rotation. There could still be a little bit of rotation lower end, but at this time, we have had no word from the National Weather Service that they are seeing anything that is concerning. And again, it just looks like at this time it's a threatening wind gust. Now we can notice a little bit on the radar between just east of Crossit, where you can see a little bit of definement between the red and green. What we can see sometimes is straight line wind setting up. And this does not look like a straight line wind scenario. Usually it's a very bright red and it's an extended line, and you can really tell that there's something going on there. But there is, again, likely some stronger winds in this area as they continue to track from southwest.
Kristen, I want to show you the RDOT camera. They just had it zoomed in, and you see just how windy it is out there. Now they're zooming back out, so I feel like I interrupted you for no reason now. But it's really very windy, at least north of Lake Village right now with the storm that's moving through.
Yeah, those storms down there, again, the ones that, the counties that do have a severe thunderstorm warning, that does include just now Eastern Union County, as well as Ashley and Chico counties. The tagline there is for quarter-size hail as well as 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And you can see here on the RDOT camera, those winds and the trees, they are moving and blowing. And so as these storms continue to roll in, what's happening is they're very powerful storms. And there's a lot of, obviously, a lot of lightning, a lot of rain. And with that comes downdrafts from these severe storms. And that's what's the production of the strong winds, is that all the energy from the thunderstorm is being transferred from the thunderstorm itself down onto the earth in the form of heavy rain, which creates a wind tunnel essentially that can give these 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So it's very important that with these severe thunderstorm warnings, you stay inside. You want to stay away from windows regardless. Kind of treat it like a tornado warning. You don't necessarily have to go into the lowest and innermost level of your room, but you should definitely stay away from windows and doorways and stay inside, because with these 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, as we've seen from last night, you can get trees falling down, you can get power lines going down, so you just want to stay as safe as possible.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As we're looking at this RDOT camera, they're moving the camera around. Kristen, I'm assuming that they're doing kind of what we're doing, and they're just looking at the sky to see if you know, maybe even the National Weather Service, to see if that there's anything to be concerned about given the distance on the radar. Just an assumption, but maybe.
I would probably assume that they're doing the same, just trying to scan the area and see if they're seeing anything, because at least on this view, you can see the clouds further off towards the top and the left area. You can see a defined cloud base there. That may be a sign of something trying to lower. Right now, it doesn't look to be that anything. I don't see any rotation just from this view, or even a funnel or anything of the sort. But they were probably contacted by one of the National Weather Services saying, hey, can you scan and see if you can see anything in that area? Because it helps to have eyes on the storm. There's only so much that radar will tell us.
Right, and it's so hard. I mean, even, and I'm noticing what you noticed as well. And, you know, it's so hard to see if, you know, if that is lowering or whatnot, just because the RDOT camera is zoomed out. And even when you look at a tree that's whipping in the wind, it doesn't really look like it's whipping very fast, but in fact it is, and that's just the camera perspective.
Yeah. But what I'm seeing on our radar at least does not show any indication of rotation right now. And I'm actually, when we do have these severe weather days, the meteorologists are always in communication with the National Weather Service through a bunch of different chat modes. And right now there's no communication from our National Weather Service, or even this area down here in Southeast Arkansas would be covered more so by Jackson, Mississippi's chat. And there's no communication right now that they are seeing, that they are concerned about any storm potentially rotating, which is good. Usually they're very communicative with us, and they give us a heads up if they are watching something, which we also will message them and say, hey, what do you think about this storm here? Are you going to put a warning on, or what are your thoughts? Because you know, they're kind of like our partners when it comes to these severe weather events as well. So I think it's right now safe to say that there's nothing really to our ability that's rotating in this area. But again, just because we're not seeing any tornado warnings with this tornado watch just yet doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. And it also doesn't mean that you should just take this lightly. It is severe weather season here in the natural state. We do see more severe thunderstorms typically in middle to late spring. And a severe thunderstorm warning in and of itself still creates a potential danger to the public, even though it's not a tornado warning. So I think everyone just should take this seriously and look at how quickly it's traveling. I really think by around 2 to 3 o'clock, all these storms should be out of Arkansas.
And and hopefully, and I question it because there are days where it's a lot of storms moving through during the day, and you end up with a fairly nice sunset. Is that maybe in store for us tonight?
There's potential, yeah, that we could have a really nice sunset. I really hope we do. It'd be a really nice reward for all this storm coverage from all of us, wouldn't it? We will
Really
still
would.
have some clouds in and around the area throughout the remainder of the day today. Obviously, you're right now taking a look at downtown Little Rock and through North Little Rock as well. We're not seeing a whole lot of breaks in the clouds. I will say I did see a little bit of sun on my drive to work, but I'll try to pull up our satellite and radar here to show you what we're seeing when it comes to cloud cover in the area and how quick we could possibly get a little bit of sunshine back. So here's the very latest satellite and radar that I've pulled up here. We're seeing some sun just northeast of Heber Springs, as well as through White County and also west of Little Rock, more so through Yell, Montgomery counties, Pike County, and further off through southwest Arkansas, closer to Little River and Sevier counties. You're also seeing rain now showing up through northwest Arkansas. That is actually wraparound moisture from a large area of low pressure that did come through last night. And since then, most of the rain, trying to pull it up here, you can see it spin and make its way through. So the low itself right now probably located more so near southern Illinois, southeastern Missouri, northeast Arkansas. And on the backside of that low, you get this counterclockwise spinning occurring. So this is just wraparound moisture that's now making its way through parts of Missouri, pushing out of Kansas and Oklahoma. And it's going to clip some of our northern counties here in Arkansas through the remainder of the day. But severe weather with this wraparound moisture, not anticipated at all. If we're going to see any severe weather today, again, it's really down in southeast Arkansas, where we now have that cold front pushing in and very warm and moist air still out ahead of it, which has led to that shower and storm development.
All right, Kristen Kennedy, the Arkansas Storm Team on standby. That tornado watch in effect for southern Arkansas until 6 p.m. But Kristen, you said that there is a possibility that it could expire sooner than that. And of course, download the Arkansas Storm Team app and you'll be notified with updates and alerts and warnings.
Yeah, the National Weather Service will be the ones to completely expire the tornado watch. So we'll, of course, give you the latest update on that and be sure to share it all on social media when it's given. But based off the timing of the storm system itself right now and how quickly it's already making its way through southeast and east Arkansas, I do think it will be allowed to expire earlier than 6 o'clock.
All right, meteorologist Kristen Kennedy and the Arkansas Storm Team closely monitoring that possibility for severe weather today. Kristen, thank you very much. And a reminder that tornado watch is in effect for parts of the state until 6 p.m. Keep your eyes on the sky or let the Arkansas Storm Team do it for you. Download the Storm Team app now and you can be notified when any alerts or watches are issued in your neighborhood. Have a good rest of your afternoon.